All right, so we'll go ahead and start. Hi, you all. My name is Dorian Thompson. I work with the UNCG Alumni Office, along with some other team members that will be helping me on this call today. We have Yubi Sandoval, as well as Sam Logan, as a part of the alumni team. We've been taking some time for these lunch and learns pretty much on like a monthly basis, just to get some information out to you all from our awesome alumni who are experts in the field. And this session is just focusing a little bit on professional writing tips with a class of 2012 alumna, Lamonda Sykes. And with Lamonda, she is the founding author of With a Capital M Publishing Group, LLC. She actually provides self-publishing services to aspiring and veteran authors. And when she isn't helping authors pursue their dreams, she works full-time at UNC Chapel Hill as a budget analyst managing federal, state, and funded contracts and grants. So writing is truly a part of what she does on a daily basis. And now I will hand over to her so she can tell you a little bit more about herself in the session. Thanks.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join me in my home office. You know, we're all cooped up in the house. But thank you, Dorian, and thank you, UNCG Alumni Engagement for, excuse me, I'm sorry. I feel like something is calling me. But anyway, thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak about writing tips. To reiterate what Dorian said, my name is Lamonda Sykes. I am a 2012 graduate of UNCG, go Spartans. Also a 2016 return graduate in the nonprofit management certification program or post-baccalaureate certification program. I have been working as a research admin professional for the last 5 years now, I believe. Yeah. But I majored in hospitality and tourism management, and I have a minor in business administration. As Dorian stated, I am the owner and founding author of With the Capital M Publishing Group based in Durham, and I am an avid email reader. I like to say that now because I feel like I've read almost 1 million emails in the last 6 months since we've been under the stay-at-home order. So I am very familiar with emails and professional writing, technical writing. So I just wanted to share some tips with you all today, and hopefully you're able to add this to your pocket of knowledge as you're going in and going into your fields. First, I wanted just to start off by saying professional writing and creative writing to me are similar. I'm an author, I'm a poet, I have a children's book. So I like to think of writing an email, writing my cover letter in the same way I would if I'm attacking a book. I want to know who I'm speaking to. Who am I writing this email to, or who am I writing this cover letter to? So you need to think about your audience. So who specifically are you speaking to? Are you speaking to the CEO of the company, or are you speaking to someone that's on, on the same level as you, your colleague? You want to be respectful every time that you email or send a cover letter or whatever you're writing, but you want to be sure to address them the way they have requested to be addressed. My biggest thing and my biggest pet peeve is never to be too familiar with the person you're not familiar with. If you've never spoken to this person before, if you've never written to this person before, it may, be the best thing to not address them by their first name. Maybe address them by their last name, or not address them, like put their name at all, just say hello or greetings or something along that nature. Also, think about what your purpose is when you're addressing the audience, like the person that you're writing. Why are you emailing them? Why are you sending them this cover letter? Why are you sending them your resume? You want to make sure that you're making sure that your purpose is shown within the first couple of lines of your email, cover letter, or resume. You want to make sure that it's clear, it's concise, and that it's true. I've had instances where I've sent emails to colleagues or different departments and sponsors of grants where I'm having to add details or add facts as to where I got my information from. And you want to be sure that you're able to do that just in case they question it, and also just to cover yourself in an instance that it may come back, you know. And also be mindful, going back to the first point, also be mindful that we don't have a lot of time and we're looking at thousands of emails on a weekly to monthly basis. So you want to make sure that you're being concise and that you're specifying the points that you're trying to make within the first couple of lines, as I said before. Think about how do you want your reader to receive and to respond to your message. Are you wanting an action to take place? Be sure to make that known as well, and make sure that it's clear. Are you just giving them information just to give it to them? If that's the case, still be concise in it. Do not give them like a laundry list of things to do in one email or in a cover letter. Like, you just want it to be very clear and concise. And I can't say that enough. Be clear and concise in your communication. And that's basically the importance of professional emailing. You want to be direct as possible. And also thinking about how you want them to respond. Check your tone. You want to make sure that you're not saying anything that can be misconstrued. Sometimes written text can be misconstrued, can be taken out of context, but try to use words that people won't take offense to. I know some of you, I've seen those memes going around that are like, per my last email, or as I stated before. You know, I've done it too. I'm not even gonna lie, my petty side has come out in my emails a couple of times. But you don't want to start a war within, a digital war. You want to be sure that you're being effective and efficient and using words that will give off a tone of, let's just get this done. I don't care, what the beef is. Like, let's just get this done. And also, if you want to show that, or you want to show that you want them to do things or get things done, use bullet points. Use the highlighter. Use, italics or bold, but don't use it too much. Don't be too excessive with it. But just enough to provide emphasis on the task or the task that you want to get completed. All right, next, for everything, you want to proofread. Sometimes we get in a hurry when we're responding to an email, or we saw a job that we want to apply to super fast, or a grant that we're submitting or something like that. You have to make sure that it's, again, clear, concise, but it's free of errors, as many errors as possible. So what I like to do when I have to write like a hefty email, or if I'm compiling something for a report, I like to create a draft, and I just do like a brain dump, and I put everything down on that one piece of paper or in that document, so that I can get everything out the way. And then I go and edit it. I edit to check for grammar. I check for punctuation. I just check overall to make sure that I'm saying what I want my reader to get. I want to make sure that they're getting the message clear and that they understand me clearly. My intent is for them to understand me. After I edit, I go back and I edit again. Again, checking to make sure that my sentences make sense, making sure that I'm using the correct punctuation, and I'm noting, basically noting my intent of the overall document. A couple of tools that I found that could be helpful when it comes to editing if you're not good with grammar or punctuation. Grammarly, I've used Grammarly a few times, and it's very helpful with some punctuation and grammar mistakes. I know that if you wanted it to do like the entire document, you may have to pay for it. Pro Writing Aid, I haven't used that personally, but I did read some reviews and I found that it was really good. So I may start implementing that one, using that tool in my day-to-day, especially when it comes to my business as a publisher. Sometimes you just need assistance because writing can be very subjective, but you want to make sure that you just get the basics, correct. Next, is writing appropriate? The one thing, I know this is about professional writing and I'm supposed to give you tips about writing, but sometimes you have to know that an email isn't always appropriate or a report isn't always appropriate. Sometimes you have to speak to that person face to face or over the phone. And you should kind of pick up on the clues if the emails going back and forth are not getting you anywhere, or you've sent this report a million times and the changes still aren't there. You need to just pick up the phone or schedule a time to meet with this person and just say, hey, can we go through this together, face to face or over a Zoom conference? And to me, that's more professional than anything, is just to have that one-on-one with the person that you're trying to work with or trying to get the job with, or something like that. Just giving them a call or a conference call and just going through it and being more and build that rapport and relationship with them. To me, like I said, it seems a little bit more professional because it shows that you're willing to get the work done any means necessary. And you also show that the effectiveness of meeting face to face over sending multiple emails and nothing gets done. We don't have, like I said, we barely have time to read the emails that we get in our inbox. Why waste time when we're just trying to get something done, And then the next thing, social media. How social should you be? When we think of being professional, sometimes we don't consider social media in the part it plays in our professional careers. If we do, we think about LinkedIn mostly when we're thinking about working for corporate America, or if we're talking about if you're an entrepreneur, you may think of Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or whatever for your brand. But as like a corporate America, like a person of corporate America, you don't necessarily think of it. And I'm the same way. But because so many businesses look at social media as a way to decide whether or not they're going to choose you as a candidate for their position, says a lot. Your social media presence reflects not only on yourself, but on the business or the corporation that you work for. You're a representation of them as well. So the pros of social media, you can show off your accolades, you can tell about your children or your family or whomever, but the cons are sometimes you can't voice your opinion. But no, there's a difference between opinion and prejudice. I just want to put that out there. But sometimes you feel like you have to be a little bit more conservative about how you express yourself, just because you may be reflecting for your company or even your own personal brand. We have to find a balance. So with things that are going on with this being an election year, no matter which side you decide to choose, if this is the candidate that you're going to vote for and you support them fully, that's fine. But like I said earlier, make sure that you're presenting facts to back your statement so that it doesn't come off as a prejudice. It's actually, this is my reasoning. These are my reasonings behind it. Sometimes we get the two confused, or saying that, this is a straight opinion, but sometimes it's not. It's just based off of one experience that we had, and we can take that and take it over, make it overkill, to say the least. But anyway, I didn't mean to run on a tangent about that, but you just want to be more, just kind of balance out your social media, still use it to show off your accolades, still use it to present your best self, and use it as a way to vent if needed. But again, be mindful that you are a representation of the company that you work for or the brand that you are trying to sell. Um, so,
Oh, and quickly, Lamonda,
uh,
going back to social media, I know one question, and this is just kind of a personal thought, but I was wondering if you could touch on it. Just kind of considering just grammar rules, especially when it comes to kind of resharing or reposting. Are there
mhm.
any certain tips or rules to follow on that? Because I know a lot of people, you can be a little bit more relaxed when it comes to grammar rules and just how you post online.
I would say take the same considerations as you would when you're writing an email, your cover letter, or resume. You still want to present your best self. So take the time to edit your post. Make sure that you're using the correct punctuation marks and the correct um, sentence structure when creating your posts for social media. So I would take that into consideration as well. If you're reposting something that may have some grammar mistakes in it, um, I mean, if I guess you can just correct them in your status, or not, or just repost it and quote that you got it from somewhere else. So you're not plagiarizing, but yeah, I would still take in the same considerations as you would if you were submitting a resume, a cover letter, or a an email to someone. So I know those were very basic and short tips, but that's really all the professional tips that I have. So are there any questions or anything that I can answer?
Okay, so it looks like we have one question.
Mhm.
Um, and you can answer it live, but how long should one wait to respond to an email?
I would um, I would say the general rule is to get respond within 24 to 48 hours. If it's something that you don't understand or you need more time to research, um, I know for me, sometimes I have situations where I need time to actually, get more information about the email. I will address it and say, "Hi, I did receive your email. Just know that I am working on such and such," or um, yeah, something like that. But usually, my general rule is between 24 to 48 hours.
Thank you. And kind of another follow up to that, would you mind kind of answering just a little bit about email signatures and maybe kind of away messages? Are there any particular tips for those, especially when it comes to, I know like UNCG, we have a certain brand and kind of rules that we're going to follow, but maybe for like personal or corporate kind of email signatures or like messages?
For your email signature, I would, like a generic one would just be your name, your title or degrees if you want to include that. In a secondary way, someone can contact you. If you have a website or even your social media that you want people to check out, you can also add that into your signature. And also your pronouns. I'm noticing that a lot of my colleagues put their pronouns in their signature so that people are aware of what they would like to be addressed as. Um, but I wouldn't do too much. And it's also based off of your corporation or the entity that you work for. Some will require you to put in there some type of like clause that this email is for like privacy use only or something like that. Like it's not being shared outside of this entity. So it really, really depends on the entity that you work for. For my personal email and my brand email, my personal email just have my name, my phone number, and that's it. And then my business email, I use the brand's logo, our social media, and the secondary contact, which is the phone number to contact us. As far as away messages go, I've seen some really like I don't want to say corny, but some funny ones where it's like, I'm probably just sitting on the couch, you know, eating and binge watching TV, but I'll respond to your message later. I wouldn't suggest using that, but it's kind of funny. But you want to show that you are aware that they are sending you a message and that their message is important to you, but you're taking time off. So just let them know, I will respond to your message in the order received, and give them a contact to reach if it's something that's urgent and can't wait until you get back. Typically, my way messages are about 2 to 3 lines, but some people's are longer depending on the department and the job requirement that they have. So
It looks like we also have one more question.
mm-hmm.
I'm a news producer and write to that specific industry. How difficult is it to pivot to another industry like copywriting?
Say it one more time.
Sure. How difficult is it to pivot to another industry like copywriting? This person's a news producer and says they write to that specific audience.
I mean, if you have transferable skills, it shouldn't be that hard to pivot into that role. To be perfectly honest, I started off as a hospitality and tourism management major. I worked for a contract food industry company at a university in North Carolina, which has nothing to do with research administration or publishing, but the transferable skills that I learned from that job was related to business administration and how to deal with people and like dealing with people and management behavior basically. So for you to come over from a you said a news broadcasting position, right?
Mm-hmm. News producer.
News producer position to go into copywriting or copy editing, I'm assuming. It shouldn't be that difficult because there are different niches in the copy editing, copywriting field. So you'll probably be able to take the skills that you learn from producing into that field. I would suggest probably looking up some ways to learn more about it so you can be familiar with the differences, but you should have a lot of transferable skills to go over to that. I hope I answered your question.
And we have another question. What are the first steps in publishing a book?
The first steps into publishing a book is to make sure you have content. I know that a lot of people are looking for ghostwriters because they're not willing to sit down and write for themselves, which is cool. But you still want to have a story to tell, a compelling story, or a compelling book, or not book, just compelling content for people to read. I'm a big advocate to staying true to yourself. So if it's something that you would want to read, I'm pretty sure there's someone else that wants to read it too. But the very first step is to make sure that you have content. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter if it's written, but it's on a napkin. Like, just make sure that you have something written down, or at least an idea that is planned out. So having content is number one, in my opinion.
All right, well, it looks like we have most of all the questions answered. Are there any other things before we wrap up? Oh, we had one more. So if you are considering creating a blog to share your life experience, do you think a blog may be a professional conflict?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. I think that would be something you would need to discuss with, depending on what the blog is about, and if you're going to use your real name or is it called a pseudonym? I'm sorry, I'm not really good with terminology. Or if you're going to use a pen name. And if you are, I would consider talking to your HR professional because one, you don't want it to be a bad reflection on you because you're creating a brand, and two, don't want to create, you don't want to have any type of conflict with your professional organization. But I don't think it will cause any type of conflict. It really just depends on what you're going to write about. And also, you don't want to, if you're writing about your life experiences and it includes your job experiences, be sure not to defame or write any libel text or anything about the job that you're working for. But I would consider talking to an HR professional just to get their input. Me working for UNC, I had to state that I had another position outside of UNC, like another, well, have my own business basically, so that they knew that there had to be some split of like a division of my time. So not to say that I'm like making sure that there's no conflict with me working a second position, and like not a second position, having a business and making sure that it doesn't conflict with my work with UNC. So you want to make sure that your entity doesn't have that same, something similar in place. So I would consider talking to them if that's something that you're doing.
And we had one other question. How do we get in contact with you if we need additional assistance?
I'm glad you asked. You can shoot me an email at lamondasykes@gmail.com. Make sure you capitalize the M in my name, LA, capital MONDA. I won't be upset with you if you don't in the initial email, but just letting you know. And if you're interested about any of the books that I publish or interested to learn more about my publishing company, here's the website with the capital M.com. And yes, I named the business because of the capital M in my name. But yeah, definitely reach out. I hope that you found this helpful. I don't want to call myself a subject matter expert in professional writing, but I do write professionally all day, every day. So, and also remember that you know more than you think you know. So don't take it too seriously, but just be cognizant of who you're talking to, how much information that they need to have, and edit. So.
Well, thank you so much again, Lamonda. We really appreciate that insight. And I would say that, you know, with running your own company, you definitely are a subject matter expert. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks, friend.
For joining this session. I hope you were able to get some tips. And I can also share some of that information before we go in the chat box if you guys would like another way to see that email and website. And just to let you guys know what we're up to as the alumni office, we have homecoming coming up a lot faster than you guys think. Everything that we're doing is online, so we do encourage you to see more sessions like this, as well as some stuff coming up for homecoming. Visit alumni.uncg.edu. Thank you again, and I'm seeing some thank yous in the chat. So
thank you.
Yeah. All right, well, everyone have a great rest of your afternoon, and have a good one.
All right, bye.